version. But essentially, yeah, these are where your design layers are. If you scroll your keypad, your mouse over the top, it should give you the command prompt. So layers, click on that. And this is where all your design layers come in. So you'll have one original layer. So double click on that so you can modify it. So, for example, if you're doing plan, type base plan. And then you go and set the scale. So just say you're doing 1 to 20, set 1 to 20. And then OK. So for your new, type in new, and then you can do base objects. So that you know that's the original still. And it should automatically work to the scale that you've already set in. But you can just double check that and go into it again and set your scale if it hasn't. And then I do another one with base performance. So that's where you can draw your people or your base person. Okay, so to set up your classes, go into the classes dialog. You can actually also access that from layers. I've got a glitch in mine at the moment, so I can't actually show you what to do because it's going to crash.
Do you want to do one of mine?
Yeah, is that okay? Okay, cool. Thanks. I just realised that I couldn't do that. Excellent. Okay. So when you click on the dialog to bring up the design layers, you'll notice that there's other tabs. So if you go into classes, you can add new classes to the line weights that you'll be working with. So at this stage, because we're doing very basic drawings, we only really need to worry about line weight specifically. So if we type new, and then you could just type in the actual pen weight. So 0.05, for example. Then you double click to make sure the parameters are correct. So fill, you don't really want any, so press none. Pen style, yes, you want it to be solid, and make sure that the line weight is actually corresponding to the line weight that you've given. So you'll have a drop down of what you can use. So that's 0.05, okay. New, and do the same until you've got all of the nominated line weights that I've asked you to do. So that's 0.13, once again, no fill, and the line weight should be at the same corresponding line weight. Okay. Let's go if you've got that too. Okay, so that's line weights. Thanks, Gerald.
Roberta, she's not here. To do otherwise.
Really? I'd also set up your A3 printing page, whether that you're going to go directly to print or create a PDF from that. So I'll just draw a quick box in here so that we've got something to work with. And then my page. Okay, so to set your printing area, go to page setup, printer setup, and there should already be an A3 size in there, and you want to set it, you can set it to portrait or landscape depending, and it should be 100% because that will actually print your to the scale that you've set the layer at, because essentially you're drawing it 1:1, but the layer just locks it into that scale, which will then be denoted by the printable area. Okay. So there you have your A3 page. So the number one tool, so this is a really basic introduction to CAD. The number one tool that you'll be using is the line tool, which is quick key 2. Otherwise, up here in your palettes, make sure that you've always got object info, attributes, and the basic tool sets on, and your constraints. Okay, so with your line tool, there's several ways you can do this to get a correct dimension. So you click to begin, then you can press tab and type in to say we want a metre. So you're working in millimetres always. So a metre is 1,000, and then press enter, and that will give you the line. And then you click to end the command. Yeah. Press Shift key so that you'll keep a 90-degree angle at all times. Alternatively, you can just draw a line holding the Shift. See how it actually snaps to the various angles. So just put it close to where you want it to go, and then it will snap horizontal. You can click that in. And then you can go up to your object info box over here, which is from your palettes. And the L denotes the length. So I can change that value at any time and type in, okay, I want that to be a metre, so 1,000. Enter.
Cool.
And then you can just work that way around. I think that's pretty much a basic tool. You can also use a square tool. If you know that you're drawing a desk, for example, you can simply draw a square, and then you can change in the dialog box the width and the height. So that's quite straightforward. If you're needing to use a circle or to draw a circle, simply draw a circle, and then you can change the radius or the diameter. It's like a really easy way to work. Why isn't that? So just say we want a metre diameter. There you go. Now to move something around once you've drawn it, you simply click on the selection tool, which you're familiar with from all the other programs, Illustrator, etc. The quick key for that is X. I think if you drag your mouse across any of these basic tools, after a while it will actually prompt you and show you what the quick key is to be able to do that quickly. But until you feel familiar with that or comfortable enough, just simply click on it using your mouse. And then if it's highlighted, it should turn a different colour. And then you can just move it around wherever you want by dragging it. And you can also like drag an edge, and then it will find an edge and it will speak to you and say, okay, you found the edge point, you can drop it there and you know that they're connected. Now, if we know that we want this circle moved over 2 meters, for example, we can press Command M, which means move, and then we can type whichever direction X and Y. Okay, so 2 meters to the right, 2,000. You simply type in the setting and then it will move. If you want it to move in the other direction, you simply put a negative, so it works in that fashion.
Okay, cool.
So then it moves back. I'm just thinking another quick thing that you'll probably need. You can do arcs and things like that. So if you're wanting to draw a doorway, for example, and you know that's the length of your door and you've drawn both sides of the walls, for example, yep. Then you select your arc and it's the first arc radius and it will be default on that anyway. So you have your starting point at the base to where to project up to the origin of where you want the arc to begin. So you create your center point by selecting the base of the door. You then select the top and then it will reach around. And that's got a fill in it. So let's take that off. Yours won't have a fill in it. And of course your opening will be the correct size that will match your door. If you know that you want something to be a certain distance off something, so you know that you want another line of this description to be 500 mils offset, you can go to this little offset tool down here. So if you just run your mouse over it, the prompt will come up and tell you what it is. So you click on the offset tool. Then you go to, whenever you click on a tool, there'll be further dialogues to be able to manipulate the tool up here. All that you need to be concerned about at this stage is the little cross wrench and pencil. So if you click on that, you can change the parameters. So we wanted it to be offset by 500. You just change that in the box, click, and then whatever side you want that to be offset to, you click. and then it becomes offset. If you want to join, this is another really easy tool. If you've got two crossover components and you want them to join, it will always select the shortest sides. I'll make this a bit more obvious. Okay, so you know you want that particular angle to form a really, you want to trim the edges of those and form a clean corner. So you select both elements. To select two elements, you click on the first element and then you hold down the Shift key and select the next element. And then you simply press Command J to join. So if you're using PC, it will be Control. So on Mac, it's Command. So that's a good tool to join. Radius fillet. Okay, so if you want both of these to have a coved edging, you simply go to this fillet, which is number 7, which has the coving on it. You click that. Once again, you go to your dialog and let's set it for 50. If that's good. Then you click the first line that you want to cove with the next line. And then the radius is formed, and it actually trims the other side so that you can just simply delete those lines. If you want a bigger radius, let's do 500. Click on the first line and then on the second line, and then it will give you a bigger cove. And once again, it trims the edge for you. So yeah, to delete something, you just click on it and press delete. Okay, so to select something, if you've got a whole group of something that you want to select, you can simply outline all of it from left to right. And even if you cross over one of the other elements, it actually has to be completely covered in order for it to be selected. So you can see that I've actually gone over the circle there, but it's actually only just going to highlight the complete entity that I've actually highlighted. If I had actually pressed the Alt key, the Option key down, you'll notice that no matter what I touch, it will be selected. If that makes sense. So if I want to create a group of these items so that I know that they're locked in within that position, I press Command G and that groups the objects, and then whenever I move them around, it comes as a collective. And then to double click, if I wanted to change something within that group, I double click on it and just move these palettes away. You can see that you're actually in a group. There'll be a band of apricot around and you'll be working within the framework of the group. The newer versions of Vectorworks still show in shaded all the other elements that exist on the paper space, so that's a lot easier. So yeah, you can change that and do whatever you want, and then you press exit group and it will still retain its group. If you want to ungroup something, you press Command U for ungroup. All these commands also exist up in the drop-down menus, mostly in Modify. So you go down to Modify and then you have the option to group, ungroup, and I'll have the prompts next to it too, so you can get used to all of that. That's pretty much what you're, oh, so to change a class. Okay, so when you start drawing, up here is the layer that it is on, which is base plan currently, and the class I'm using is none. So if I was to select a different class and start drawing, you'll see the difference between both of these boxes. So clicking on this box, if you look at the object info, that gives you all the information about whatever you've got selected. So I can see that the class is dimension and the layer is base plan, as opposed to this square where the class is none and the layer is base plan. If you want to, just say you've been drawing and you realise that you've drawn an object but it's actually showing up on your base plan, you can select that object and go to your layer and place that on the correct layer that you want to have on. In your view, classes should always be shown as show, snap, modify others. Layer options should only ever be either active or show, snap others or grey snap others. Don't ever put it on show, snap, modify others because it will just get really confusing. So if you want to only see, because we've transferred one of those squares to a different layer, if I go to view and I just go to layer options active only, you'll only see elements on that page which are on that particular layer. If I go to view layer options grey snap others, you'll see whatever's on a different layer will be in grey, but I'll still be able to move this object and it will find elements for me to be able to snap to. So and it will line exactly with those edges. If I just show, see how when I was moving this object, it actually starts to talk to the other objects, like, okay, I can find the centre of that object that's grey, to say top centre, or bottom centre, or centre left, for example. If I had the view on show others without snap others, it will show what's going on, but it won't actually snap to anything on that object. It won't find where the midpoint of that object is. So always put it to snap, because that's a lot easier. And then, yeah, show snap others is probably the most regular one that you want to use. And then to check what layers things are on, yeah, go to grey snap others so that you can see that the objects are impacting the other layers. I think that's probably all that you'll need for now. Oh, mirror tool is handy. So if you want to mirror something, so just say we'll select, yeah, that object because it'll be obvious what can be mirrored. So select mirror tool. You can either, the first option up here will mirror it without it retaining the original. So just click anywhere and then press your shift key so that it gets a perpendicular mirror. And then run it whichever way you want to flip it. So that kind of makes sense. On my computer at the moment, but it actually still retains the original. So if you go into mirror, when there's a faded, it will simply flip the object without keeping the original form, and this one will create a duplicate. So that's another, so you can flip it in either direction. Yeah. And so just let the computer, let the program guide you, because sometimes you need to click an object first before you select the prompt tool, and sometimes you'll have to instigate the tool set and then click the object that you want to activate. So if it's not working one way, just try it the other way, because various tools do various things. Yeah, so if you ever want to get the dimension or understand how long something is, this object info box is going to be your key, because it will always tell you the length of lines and things like that, which will be handy for putting in the dimensions. And it's really easy to manipulate class, layer, and the length and angle of things within that dialog box. And then you can get into the detail of putting in curved edges if you're detailing things that are a little bit more intricate. But I think that should be enough to get you guys started at least. And if you've got any questions, just write them all down and we can knock them out in class.
So only one question I have is,
yeah,
if
sure.
you choose, say, 1 to 10 first,
yes.
Is it easy to change to 1 to 5, or do you have to start all over again?
Oh gosh, no, it's so easy. All you have to do, okay, so you've started drawing, you've selected 1 to 10 and you've realised, oh, actually I can fit everything on the page. So let's just delete something. Okay, so thinking, okay, my drawing really taking up that much space. Let's see if it works at a different scale. So you go up to your layers, you double click on your layer, you go to scale and you go, okay, let's see if 1 to 10 will fit, and you simply just change the scale in your layers. It's really as easy as that.
So I don't have to choose it and measure everything before?
Oh no, you don't. No, because you're always working in 1 to 1.
Right.
And so the layers essentially is just locking it into that scale so you can print it at that scale.
Right.
So there you go. And now all you have to do, it will shift its location because it's in relationship to an origin point. So your page will, you just have to move your page and go, okay, I can fit that scale now, so that's good.
Great, thank you.
That's
So
all right.
because you set up your page at the beginning, like how you showed us for print settings, we shouldn't have a
Yes.
problem printing to scale.
No, you shouldn't, because that will lock it in. Whatever scale you've got selected in your
Yeah.
layers, that's what it will be.
I have one question. Can you show me
Sure.
how to do the people thing? I
Oh,
don't know the
people.
library how to do
Okay,
it.
so so in your resource browser, so that's another palette.
Yep.
Go to resources. Sorry, click on the little tab at the side. Oh, actually, sorry, not the tab. This little drop down arrow next to resources.
Yep.
Drop that down. You want to find a new resource. Find resource, sorry. You want to find a new resource. It will be a different dialogue for a newer
Yeah,
version.
just
so
go through
you
it.
Want to, yeah, find. So you want to search. There should be a library set. So libraries, this will be available on, assuming you're using computers down here? Or you've got
I'm
one at
using
home?
my PC
Oh,
laptop
okay.
there.
All Vectorworks comes with a very basic set of library parts. So yeah, go into your libraries, then select metric. It's really odd. Normally what happens is you go into libraries and then you can select whatever
And then just
library
go
and then
from
it
there.
should be activated, but mine's got so many.
And if we want to add, we add to that library.
Yeah, you can. So if you were to download something, there should be a location where you can download into and just make sure that it's within your library object so you can find it quite easily. And then when you go into your resources, once you've clicked on one of these, it will activate every single object and it will show it in a window and it actually give you an image of it. So if you see a person in plan, for example, you can click on that and yeah, so it will come up with a dialog box of all the symbols that are in that file. You double click on the window and then it will actually bring out an object and you can just click it down. That's like using a stamp.
And then you'll put it there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And you can just change the size? Or
And
what do you have to do?
you can, in order to change, because it will be scaled correctly, so whatever, it's also drawn at 1:1, so whatever scale you're drawing is
Right.
at, it will bring it in proportionately, so that's
Cool.
fine. If you want to alter it, that's when you need to press the Command K, yeah, and then it will turn it into a group.
And then you can edit that. Cool. That's cool.
Okay,
Thank you. That's so good. Thank you.
so that should be enough to at least get you started with drawing the dimensions, because
Yeah.
it's pretty basic things that you're drawing at the moment. And then we can work through the intricacies once we get to those. I think
So
it's
we should
easier.
really bring our laptops with us.